Welcome to the Nash Attack. So I need to stop saying that I'm going to record on Friday. I need to just put it up in the air that it's going to be a Friday or Saturday episode, or just a weekend episode. Let's just say that. I'm going to give you one for the weekend, people. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to cover a few topics. The Ultimatum finale and reunion, that was so depressing. I couldn't even watch it again. We'll discuss that. And then we're going to talk about the last part of the Vanderpump Rules reunion. Hopefully we'll be able to just button that topic up and be done with it for a little bit. Want to talk about the job market. Wait, I actually have nothing to say about the job market. I don't know why I said that. It's just not happening for me. In this exact moment, I feel like I'm being pushed completely out of the American workforce. And I gave it my all for a really long time, simply to be completely disregarded. All my skills feel worthless. It's a mess. I had a recruiter recently tell me, you're going to really want to make sure that you have a job by 2024 because the market's just going to get worse. Like, honey, you don't think that I'm trying? Like, you don't think that I want that? But yeah, you're probably right. If I don't have a job by the end of this year, or really by my birthday is we'll just say my goal. If I don't have it by then, well, yeah, no, not going to say that. But, oh man, yeah, things are bleak. But hey, I still have a podcast and I've got a couple of people who are continually listening, and you are what keeps me going. I appreciate anybody who tunes into this podcast. Thank you so much. It's definitely helping to fill the weird, sad, broke vibe. Because to go through all of COVID and to have everything shut down and be weird for years on end, and you can't do stuff, we can't go here, and then finally everything opens up, and to not be able to participate in anything, it's slowly killing me, but hey, it's all good. I was actually going through my website. I'm trying to refresh my website a little bit. I don't know what I want to do with it. I want to make it, right now it's so ad heavy. I enjoy that for me personally, but I don't know if the user experience is great, and I don't know if I want to keep all the content on here. But anyway, long story short, the reason why I got into this is because I just think this is funny. Yeah, no, it's funny. It's funny. We'll say it's funny. I was going through my old comments and I can see my comments that are just still pending. And I was looking through, I get a bunch of spam comments because earlier before I started the podcast, my website was originally just reviews, product reviews. And I had reviewed some brush that ends up getting a bunch of spam reviews in return. It's stupid. But most of the comments I have that are pending are from that. But then I have one and it says, a possible topic. Why do well-educated people with a broad vocabulary still use cuss words to express themselves? Is it cute? From my mom. Like, oh my gosh. I vaguely remember getting this and being really upset about it at the time, but now I have to laugh. It's just kind of funny. Oh, yeah. Sometimes that's the problem with the internet and preserving everything. You know how you go through your old pictures and sometimes you see pictures of moments that kind of sting? This was like that. Having your own website, it's like opening yourself up to that a million times more. This is why I flat out abandoned Facebook. I have one that I abandoned probably like 10 years ago at this point. And then my, I guess, current Facebook, I haven't been on it in probably a year. I can't handle the memories from 10 years ago or time hop, whatever that shit is. It's too much. I am not who I used to be 10 years ago. So sometimes I don't like those things popping up. I don't know how people do that. I'll see people post them from 15 years ago. Like, you're comfortable reading that? You are a brave person. I love that. Those are like the people who can leave read message, like the read receipts on your phone. What good has gone on in your life to where you're confident and comfortable enough to have those? My anxiety can't handle it. I can't handle it. Uh, uh, oh, read receipt, people. Okay, let's get into some real topics. I feel like this opening was probably darker and less funny than what I anticipated, but hey, we're going to leave it up because I don't have time to edit this. Well, actually, I have all the time in the world. I just don't feel like it. So let's get into our first topic. I want to talk about the end of the Ultimatum Queer Love. I talked about it on my last weekend episode. I 100% was in a queer delusional fantasy land, hoping that all of these relationships were going to work out and everyone was going to end up happy and all the right couples were going to swap and get to the right place. And it did not end like that at all. The ending ended up being quite dark, I felt like. Very upsetting at the reunion, some parts. And frankly, just very realistic to real life, because this is really what happens. We all have our fantasies for who's going to get married and seeing it from the outside. This couple would be great. And of course, it doesn't work out like that. And as sad as it made me, I enjoy the humanity of it. Okay, again, I'm going to pull up everybody's names because I don't want to leave anyone out. I'm really trying to get better at that with my new run of Nash Attack podcast episodes. It's not leaving people out of the episodes. Let's wrap it up. We'll kind of just talk about the last episode and the reunion together. I kind of just want to blow through this topic because it was a rough watch. We start out with, I can't even remember the order of operations. Oh, wait, we pick up where Mal and Yoly left off. I'm last week like a jackass, hoping that Yoly and Xander are going to get together and that Mal will understand and Yoly's going to say no. So within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I'm absolutely gooped because Yoly says yes to Mal's engagement. I didn't think that was going to happen. I sincerely did not. I was shocked. I was certain Yoly was going to go for Xander. The end. My mind was blown because then I didn't know what was going to happen next because I'm expecting, oh, she's going to walk up, meet Xander. They're going to propose and run off into the sunset and have a beautiful wedding in Hawaii. And we're going to all love it and eat a cake made of rainbows. But that did not happen. So whenever Yoly and Xander did connect, Yoly didn't have her ring on. And Xander and Vanessa, mind you, they had the most mature mutual breakup ever. People give Vanessa a lot of shit online. Yes, she was obnoxious in the first few episodes, told a lot of jokes that weren't, well, they weren't really funny and they weren't appropriate a lot of the time. Okay, I get it. But the hate she gets online, it's a bit much for my taste. It's not like she's Tom Sandoval or anything like that, you know? When she broke up with Xander, like they mutually broke up. Both came into it prepared. We're going to leave this relationship of 4 years. I thought that showed a level of emotional maturity. She knew Xander was in love with someone else. Their time had passed. The 3 weeks was eye-opening for both of them. The ultimatum worked. Great, Vanessa's going to go move on and things are going to be great, except, oops, the internet absolutely hates her, which sucks. Poor thing. I hate that for her. Because put yourself out here on this show. Someone's got to be the villain. And, well, the villain's kind of changed towards the end, but that first round episode, she came out as the villain. But poor Xander. This last round of episodes could have just been called Xander's Not Good, Very Bad Day, because it all was so bad. Terrible, heartbreaking breakup with the spouse of 4 years previously, Vanessa. And then going to meet Yoly and thinking, oh, are we going to do this? And I'm thinking maybe Yoly's going to realize that she's made the wrong decision and she really wants to be with Xander, and they're going to run off into the sunset. And there's even one point where they're like, do you want to run off together? And I'm thinking, yes, screw it. Mike packs off, run off into the sunset. Give me my happy ending. But no, she just kind of toyed with Xander's emotions and let her know that she got with Mal. And so we get to the reunion and find out Mal and Yoly don't stay together. Not even 2 weeks, I think they made it. They didn't even make it a full month after the show. And Yoly and Xander, they tried to reconnect. It didn't really work. I don't know if you can capture that sort of lightning in a bottle feeling that they had. Okay, I'm going to say this because in the older edition of the Nash Attack podcast, people read me for years, I say, and I mean years, for not having watched Breaking Bad. And then I watched it during COVID, like the lockdown period. Watched it probably about 40 times because you were all right. It's amazing. So I'm going to say this. I feel like Yoly took a half measure. She should have taken the full measure. No, not hurting anybody, obviously. But going for the person that she wanted to be with. She needed to make the big, bold decision because now she's sitting here not sure what she's going to do. And I really think if she had left with Xander, they would be happy, married, and a great couple because they both seem so lost. And I hope I wasn't too hard on Mal in the last episode because I really like Mal as a person. They are dope. I think they're so cool. And again, just showed so much emotional maturity and just a cool person. They were even like, you too, watching you, Xander and Yoly, it's cute. It's really cute. I even thought it was cute. You should give it a try. But I just don't know if you can go back in time and recreate the magic. It's just sad. I'm sad about it. I really wanted it to work. Oh, yeah. So there's that little group. I'm trying to see what else happened. Oh, yeah. So Mal's practice wife was Lexi and Rae. I have a small theory I'm working that Lexi just did this show to advertise her dad's wedding ring company because I feel like I heard about it 50 times and they weren't leaving that show without showing off some beautiful jewelry. And those rings were really pretty. Not even going to front. Lexi's dad's jewelry is very nice, just from what I saw from the show. So even if I'm hoping Rae got a little payment for that, maybe, hopefully, because otherwise, this was not worth it. Getting engaged on television and everything that they did just to break up. What a bummer. What a bummer. Lexi and Rae, I said it before, they just should not have gone on the show. They're too young to be giving each other ultimatums anyway. 24 years old, you don't need to give anybody an ultimatum on marriage. You should just be living life and figuring it out. I don't know. Something about their relationship, it was already on such thin ice. This definitely broke it. And I was even saying they should part ways. I think it's weird they went through with the engagement, but I kind of get it. I mean, you're here. Let's show off these rings and make a little advertising money on the side. I get it. But it was still sad. I'm happy that Aussie and Sam made it work. That was nice to see. We got one couple out of this entire shebang. We got one couple that made it out. And I am really happy that it was Aussie and Sam because nobody's going to put up with all that bullshit, Aussie. All that getting up and walking out of the room and stuff other than Sam. And I think Sam's even going to start putting you in line about it. I was dead, dying, deceased when Aussie gave Sam the rock. I thought I was like, are you seriously just going to give her a rock? And this symbolizes your love and like a crystal, like a labradorite, which is a beautiful crystal. It's great piece, but sweetheart, no, she's expecting a ring. So Thank God they got down on one knee and gave the ring. That was good TV. And they even said in the reunion they just did it to be funny. And I love that. That's why I love Aussie, and I'm glad that it worked out for them. And I just hope that they make it work and they have a fabulous wedding. And shit, I don't care if Ozzy's parents accept them or not. If that's important to Ozzy, great. If not, otherwise, who cares? I just hope that they have a happy life. I'm not really concerned about anybody but those two. Yeah. And then who else was there? Oh, Tiff and Mildred. Boy, did that get dark, way darker than I ever needed it to. To get into the domestic abuse realm at the reunion after the engagement, just awful. And a lot of people are upset with Netflix for allowing that conversation to happen and for having Tiff be with Mildred again after having this altercation. I genuinely do not know. And I think that Tiff has done a podcast about it, and I need to listen to their podcast because maybe there's more color to it. I don't know if Netflix knew all of those developments that happen, like the depth of it, the darkness of it, because maybe they wouldn't have. I was just glad that they actually let Tiff get up and leave. That's very rare on a reality show for somebody to walk off and them to actually just get a card, be like, no, go, it's fine. Especially at a reunion. I thought that was, pretty nice. Yeah, it was just dark. That was sad. And Mildred, oh, Mildred. That's a character that I wanted to like, but it's like you've now crossed that line where I can't. And it was just exhausting. Yeah, even like talking about it is exhausting. It turned out so left. Everything that I was wishing and hoping for last week did not happen. I feel like I cursed myself by thinking that this was going to turn out to be something good because I knew it would. It's reality TV. When does this stuff ever turn out positive, peachy, hooray? Never. It never turns out like that. I watch more reality television than anybody. Like, I should have known that everyone was going to make the wrong choice and that by the reunion things were going to be a disaster. It's fascinating how long it's been because the show was filmed, I believe, in 2021. So I keep saying, oh, Lexi was 24. I mean, they're older now. Her frontal lobe has connected. She's not 24 anymore. Like, a lot of time has passed, and it was interesting that they waited so long to put this show out and then for the reunion to happen, and because there was like a lot of life lived between the last episode and the reunion. So it was just fascinating how it all worked out. I thought Joanna Garcia did a good job as the host. I do wish they could have gotten a queer host. Obviously, that would have been ideal for a show like this, but she did a good enough job. She pivoted whenever she needed to because the conversation just went left at a point in the reunion, and she was able to, oh, okay, so it sounds like you two broke up, get the conversation back. So I thought she did fine. So yes, the Ultimatum Queer Love. I laughed, I cried, I cringed. It was great TV. It was great TV all around. And I hope that they do another queer season. Maybe they do a totally mixed gender queer season with a bunch of pan and bi people. I don't know. But that element made it very interesting, made the conversations quite dynamic. And I just enjoyed the show. I hope that it comes back. I hope that all of the people who were on it are doing well. Because like I said last time, they gave a lot of themselves for this show. It's a lot. You're living with people and dating all these people and you're married to them. You got to get married at the end. It's just a lot going on. But I hope they're all doing well because no matter what, those are my peeps, my queer peeps. And I'm always going to root for them. You know it. And even Mildred, I hope that Mildred gets help, the help that she needs, and learns to be better and never resorts to violence or abuse again. I truly hope that. That's all I could ever want for any of these people, is just want the best. Yeah, and let's just do it. Let's get into the last topic. I'm not tired of talking about it, but I feel myself getting to the end of it where I don't know how much more I can take. Vanderpump Rules, Scandival, the third part of the reunion came out. We got the last 5 minutes with the big secret information, and it was more timeline information, which I'll just be frank with you. I thought that all of that was known. I had assumed that Tom and Raquel were hooking up in Mexico. I'm not blown away by the information, but I was blown away by how emotional she was about it, because I listened to Danny Pellgrino's podcast about Vanderpump Rules. I mean, that, okay, if people ask me for podcast recommendations all the time, and that's always like my numero uno, go and listen to Danny Pellgrino right now. And his coverage of Vanderpump Rules has been so good, and he actually knows Tom and Ariana. He wrote the cocktail book with them, so his perspective of it is, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And I love every time he does the savings clip with Lala. It's just fantastic. I was just with him 100% that I thought she was so bizarre during the third part. Something was really off, and she was so emotionless. And the last bit, no, it doesn't change my feelings a ton, but I did feel something. Like, it was good. It's just good to see her show some sort of emotion, because otherwise, if she's not going to reveal that she's some kind of cyborg, then we need to see some tears here or something. But now there's this narrative that she was manipulated by Tom, which, sure, I do think that happened, because he's just that kind of guy. He definitely goes for a girl who's having problems, self-esteem stuff, mourning, like Ariana was at the beginning of their relationship. She was in deep mourning, just something where they're not exactly on their game. And sure, Raquel was there with her pageant stuff, losing her engagement. Yeah, so he definitely was manipulative. But she's not some innocent bystander in this, where I now have to feel, oh my gosh, how dare everybody be so upset with her and yell and scream at her during the reunion. I personally don't feel that way. I do think that it got really intense. I think people were extremely heated with her. Yes, there were some mean things said. I think a lot of the things said that were over the top, the people who said it probably, wish they'd had more distance from the situation, and probably wouldn't have said those things if it hadn't been just right after. And this is the first time they're seeing this girl after this information has blown up worldwide. I definitely understand their frustration with her and Ariana, the stuff she said. I mean, a lot of people don't get the opportunity to face the other woman face to face. And so, I don't know, maybe I'm just sick person or something. It was just kind of, I don't know, it was kind of nice to see somebody getting it for actually giving it once in a while, for a change. Because so often people get away with this and they disappear, and it's just a bunch of online back and forth. It was kind of nice to see her get it to her face. That might be mean, and I'm probably a horrible person for saying that, but it's bad that she had to experience that. But I think what Ariana experienced, and the gaslighting and the mental games, the freaking mental torture at this point, and the manipulation on both of their parts, and the lies, and doing all of this stuff while she's grieving. Raquel was an active participant in all of those things. Sure, she may have been manipulated, but she could have stopped at any time. And you have to have some sort of meter of what's right and wrong. And she knew this was wrong and kept actively engaging in it. And that, to me, is so much worse than anything that Ariana said to her. Because this is a girl who, Andy didn't answer it or ask enough questions for my taste. There was some things we didn't discuss. We talked about glamping a little bit in the first part, but we didn't talk about it once Raquel was out there. that was after we knew the affair was going on, because they lied about the timeline, but this was openly, they had said that the affair was out there. If you watch that episode, Ariana, I've been here before, where you're so sad, you're so depressed, like the tenor of your voice changes. She was so sad on that trip. Her grandma just passed away. You could tell what a dark place she was in. And Raquel sitting here crying in her face, playing in her face about pageant BS, and comfort me about that whenever she's dealing with this great loss. And Ariana does it. I'm supposed to feel bad that Ariana told her that she's nothing after she did this to her. This is the first time she's seen her. I'm not gonna beat that girl up over that. She deserved her moment of vengeance, yelling at the two of them, and they were sitting there still just lying. It's just people who lie to lie. It's such a bizarre habit. And I don't know if Raquel, I don't know what she did beforehand, but she didn't show any remorse. She had no feelings during the whole thing. It was a weird watch. It was weird to watch her. I live in a world where both things are true. That yes, Tom manipulated this girl, but I am unfortunately still not on her side. I don't feel that bad for her. Yeah, she whipped up some tears at the end of it, but it's that you feel worse about getting caught in the lie than actually doing all the lying. That all felt good and that was fun to you, but now you have to deal with the consequences of it. And oh yeah, that is hard, isn't it? I mean, come on. What do you want from me? Give me a break. I'm stressed. I got a lot going on. I can't personally be that upset for this girl who's done something absolutely diabolical to someone who she claims is a best friend. Okay, and again, Andy not asking all the questions I needed to be asked. I talked about this in my very first, well, not my very first, I've been talking about Vanderpump Rules on here for years, but this season, my first episode talking about this season, my concern about the Vander pets, about Graham, what is going on with that. Andy didn't ask anything about that. I thought that was a good topic, the pet custody issues, and to give Katie and Tom something to talk about. I feel like we didn't dig enough into their relationship. It wasn't enough. We definitely didn't give Katie enough to talk about, but I needed him to dig in. What happened to Graham? Why did that dog have a big old cut in his neck and you didn't notice it? Was it because you were too busy running around with Tom? I wanted to know. I wanted to know. And Andy didn't follow up. I also wanted Andy to dig in more about Rachella. I think that could have uncovered some more potential timeline stuff. There were things that we just needed to discuss with Raquel actually out there. Raquel, Tom, and Ariana. And I'm with everybody else. By part 3, I was done with James. And I'm sorry, Lala. I love you, girl. I was kind of done with Lala too, but I get it. She was triggered. And I know Ariana felt more comfortable on stage having them out there with her. But I do think it would have been wise. And production, like, move on the fly. Do what you got to do. If they had pulled Lala and James, maybe even Katie and Schwartz, and just had the 3 people who were mainly engaged. But I think it would have been good to have Schwartz out there. If it had been both the Toms, Ariana, and Raquel, then Sheena, it would have been great to have Sheena, but of course there's the restraining order. And then had all the rest of them in the trailer watching and reacting, and then just doing kind of like a one-on-one style, let's get you guys here together, let's hash some stuff out. Oh, maybe even if Lisa was sitting there with her bullshit. I think that we could have gotten a lot more out of it if we had taken the interrupters out. If you watch past reunions, Lala has done this every single reunion. On the Zoom reunions, all the reunions, she's always interrupting and always telling people, we're not going to talk about this and we're not going to go there. She gets really ramped up at these, which I get. Again, I say I get it. And if the host isn't going to shut you down, I think the host might be too intimidated to shut her down. I don't know what goes on there, because they're so happy to tell James to pipe down, but they don't tell it to Lala. You got to get control of the crowd without the screaming and the yelling. And like, you're so upset about these cards. Oh, my cards. Well, what was on the cards that was so great? I feel like you didn't cover so many topics. What were on those freaking cards, man? I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted with all of that. But yeah, they should have pulled them off the stage. Just known from past reunions, that's how they act. Or if you're going to have them all out there, really command the audience, or not the audience, excuse me, your crowd of people. And hey, you stop, let him speak really fast. Okay, and now you go, and really point and let people know who's talking when, and shut down the interrupting. I believe you can do it, Andy. I believe in you. Do not let these people steamroll over you. Do not let Lisa Vanderpump steamroll over you either. Because I feel like a lot of stuff just ended up left on the floor. And this is the thing. I get here with podcast episodes where I'll get to the end of recording anything that I've done creatively. I'll get to the end of it, and sometimes I'm just tired or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. You need to keep going. And again, that's another thing I agree with Danny Pellgrino about. I wanted 4 and 5 parts to this reunion, but they wanted to go so fast, and oh, James will be here for 2 days. Like, who cares? Seriously, no, like, be here for 2 days if we need to be here. More breaks if they needed it. Let's let people calm down, because it didn't feel complete. We didn't get everything out. I don't feel much better. I don't think any of them felt any better leaving that situation. And then for it to end with a photograph and not a shot, that was really weird. Normally everybody drinks together or toast. There was none of that. They at least forced the Summer House cast to do a toast together, but not this time. Yeah, it was rough. I don't know if I need to hear any more of Raquel's side of it. I think I got it. I think I get it, girl. She says whenever she gets out of wherever she is, she's ready to tell people her side. I think we're good. I don't think you need to come back. We got your side. There's not really anything you're going to be able to tell me that's going to make me like you more or feel bad for you in this situation. The things that you were revealing, even at the end, like, were still some lies, because she was still maintaining untruths during that. So I'll never be able to get the full truth from Raquel. She's an unreliable narrator, just like Tom. So it doesn't really matter what they say. This kind of goes with like what I was saying at the beginning, that this whole narrative now I have to feel, oh, we should feel so bad for Raquel, and oh, have sympathy for Tom. He's human. Whenever he's like, I'm not a serial killer. No, you're not. But you're a reality television star. You, more than anybody, signed up for this. If you didn't want people talking about your sexual indiscretions, you should have become a pastor or a politician or CEO of a company, because you can do whatever you want and nobody cares. But you're a part of the discourse of pop culture. This is what we do. This is what I do, is talk about what you guys do on these shows. So if you didn't want this, you shouldn't have done it. And so that's why I have a hard time feeling bad for either of them. No, I don't believe that they should receive death threats, but I feel like that's this like brick wall that now comes up anytime somebody is getting too much heat online. Lisa Rinna's pulled this recently, where, oh, well, I'm not on Beverly Hills anymore because the audience is so bad and they didn't used to be like this. And now I'm getting death threats. Like, death threats are this thing that shuts everybody down, because I mean, that's horrible. Nobody should be getting death threats, but then it puts everything back on the audience. We're so terrible for reacting the way we are, when not, I haven't sent anybody death threats. I've never said anything remotely close to that. I don't personally tag these people or talk to them. I mean, I do a little fringe off the side commentary. I am not actively going after them. I don't believe that everybody's just like death threats and all this stuff, but it basically, it's a way to, it just shuts everything down. So don't do that, obviously, But yeah, the discourse is still going to happen. People are still going to make memes. People are going to talk poorly about you because your behavior was poor. We are not the bad guys here. And I will not let it be flipped that, oh, well, America's gone too far. No, no way. No, they were wrong. They're the bad guys. We're just talking about it. Boo to that. Oh, man. But yes, hopefully there's not going to be any more big reveals coming out. That last 5 minutes, her breaking down, great. I mean, cool. You admitted a little bit more. Continuing to trickle truth us, which is just going to go on for years. I'm exhausted. I hope that we can now move on from this situation for a while, but I'm not going to lie. I'll miss the gossip. Like Jill Zarin said, I miss the gossip. I'm going to miss it. This was like such a wild time in the Bravo sphere, and people who don't watch Vanderpump Rules or any Bravo shows, explaining it to them, just the mania of it all. It's been so weirdly entertaining. I don't want to say fun because that's kind of bleak. Oh, one last thing. The thing that Tom said about Ariana at the reunion about, oh, well, she wore a shirt the last time, you know, that comment. My dumbass did not understand when Ariana put out those t-shirts the night of the reunion that said F me in my t-shirt. I just was like, yeah, these are some cool edgy shirts. That's cool. Good for you. I like it. I love the merch for you guys. You get that money. My dumbass completely did not connect the dots that had to do with the comment that Tom had made, and that's why she made those shirts. I am so stupid. That's just me. I was telling my friends in my group chat that, like, I am dumb. Like, duh. I don't know how I missed that. But yeah, that was awful. Just awful. I need him off my TV, out of my purview for a while. I'm not going to go see him on tour. Ugh. I'm happy for Ariana's brand deals. People who are upset about that, like, well, she's capitalizing off of this breakup. Good for her. Okay? She's always wanted to be an actress, and it is hard to break it into that industry. And if this is how she's going to get into it, I don't care. Good for her. You go, girl. You make that work. I think that that's actually awesome. Hell, I'd take whatever entryway I could get in there. And if this is it, do it. Make lemonade out of those lemons, honey. I am not mad at you. I'll shut down any hater who's got a problem with that. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I will definitely be back next week talking more. Maybe I'll have a job. Hopefully I'll be a little bit less depressed because, whew, Mom is having a tough time right now, but it's going to be okay. I feel like things are going to eventually go on an upswing. That's, you know, how the pendulum works. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Let me just get off of here. You can check out this episode of the Nash Attack podcast at www.thenashattack.com. You can always follow me on Instagram at the Nash Attack podcast. You can leave comments on my website as long as they are not rude and from my mother and about my language. Please don't do that because that will hurt my feelings all over again. No, it's totally fine. It is what it is. But no, do reach out to me. Leave me comments. Let me know what you think about, you know, Scandal. Again, I say that by the time the reunion had rolled around, if this had not come out, we would have guessed it. We would have already been guessing it and trying to figure it out. We're not dumb. We would have pieced it together. There were just too many, like, weird things going on to where we would have put it together. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you again so much for your time. We'll find some fun stuff to talk about next week. I really hope that you have such a good one, and I